Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mengs, and today I wanted to make a video talking about the future of Fire Emblem. I know that sounds like a very grim title, but I have a few things to say and I'm wondering if you guys agree with me. Now I'd like to start this video off by apologizing for my somewhat erratic upload schedule. I've been very busy with a few huge projects that have taken up a lot of my time, but hopefully that's about to change soon. Now the reason I'm making this video is that, according to all the uncles at Nintendo, there's going to be a Nintendo Direct coming up very soon. The rumors are currently that we're going to get some kind of Direct on the 12th of September. And of course, when I see that, my immediate thought is, are we going to see Fire Emblem on this Direct? I feel like it's been a long time now. We are about 4 to 5 months overdue for a new Fire Emblem trailer, statistically. But furthermore, there is something else on my mind. I think that Fire Emblem is at a crossroads right now. A little while back, I made a video talking about the declining popularity of the Fire Emblem series, and in this video I showed a Google Trends chart showing how much people have searched for Fire Emblem over the years. And while this chart is certainly not 100% reliable, nor is it an indication of how popular a game is, it does show general trends and how popular each Fire Emblem game was in terms of online searches. If we take a look at the updated charts, we can see that the popularity of the Fire Emblem franchise is at an all-time low as of today. What that means is that the average casual Fire Emblem fan is probably not spending a lot of time thinking about the series. Now, when I say casual Fire Emblem fan, what do I mean by that? I think it's very important to define this. Most of the people watching this video, and most of you who are subscribed to my channel, are probably not casual Fire Emblem fans. Most likely you fall into the category of very loyal or even die-hard fans of the series. You guys still play Fire Emblem to this day, you consume Fire Emblem content online, you may even be making some. You are the kind of fans who will immediately know when a new trailer for a Fire Emblem game drops. You'll probably come to this channel to watch my analysis of it. But when I say casual Fire Emblem fans, I'm just talking about the average Joe who may have picked up Tree Houses a few years ago, played it once and sorta liked it. Maybe he tried out Engage but wasn't super stoked by it, or maybe he just missed it entirely. Now the reason why I bring up all this about casual fans and whatnot is just to share a bit of a personal anecdote of mine. I have many friends who have been casual Fire Emblem players in the past. Most of them tried out Fire Emblem Fates and Tree Houses, and even if they didn't, they certainly knew about them. But when I would ask them about their opinions on the latest Fire Emblem game in the series, they didn't even know that it had come out. Now we can sit here and dunk on Fire Emblem Engage all day for looking weird and turning a lot of players off the franchise, but I really think something went phenomenally wrong in terms of marketing for that game. It just seems to have slipped under most people's radar. Maybe it was just a lack of confidence in the game, and maybe they didn't like how it looked and just didn't push it that much. Or maybe they thought that the goodwill and momentum generated by Tree Houses would propel the game to an instant success. And let's be real here, I don't think it's fair to say that Engage was a failure when it sold over 1 million copies. It may have been a failure compared to the success of Tree Houses, but standing on its own 2 feet, it is still one of the best-selling Fire Emblem games of all time. That being said, I personally still feel like Engage was a step backwards. Fire Emblem Tree Houses seemed to be when the franchise really broke out into mainstream popularity. If you weren't around during the Tree Houses era, it's hard to describe how electric the fandom was. Now, based on the way I'm talking about it, you may think that I'm some kind of die-hard Tree Houses fan, but far from it. I actually think Tree Houses is one of the worst games in the series from a pure gameplay perspective, but I will say that what it did to the franchise was phenomenal. When it comes to putting Fire Emblem on the map for the casual fan, Tree Houses did more for the franchise than I think any other game in the series did. Now, I think that the great success of Tree Houses is due to 2 big factors. The first is simply the game's presentation. It's amazing. The trailer, the feel, the music, everything about it really captivated fans from the start. However, the second reason I think Tree Houses did so great was simply timing. The Switch had just come out. Everyone wanted to get one. Being a game released at the start of a console's lifespan is huge. I think this is a very overlooked part of a game's popularity. Any game that is released towards the end of a console's lifespan will always perform worse. And that is exactly why this time is so crucial. The Switch 2 has just come out, and while it has certainly been embroiled in a lot of controversy and the general online attitude towards Nintendo seems to be trending down these days, it still broke sales records all over the world. This is once again due to the gap between the hardcore fans and the casual fans. The hardcore fans may be spending a lot of time online criticizing Nintendo and paying attention to all the lawsuits and controversy they're embroiled in, whereas the casual average Joe fan is just gonna go to the store and pick up a Switch 2 because he liked the Switch 1. And that is exactly why this period is so important for the Fire Emblem franchise. The Switch 2 is out. Love it or hate it, this is the time to strike while the iron is hot. This Fire Emblem game that may be coming out soon will define the next decade of the entire franchise. If this game is good, then it could usher in a new golden age for the series. But how should it succeed? What do they need to do to ensure that this game is the next hit? Well, I have a few thoughts on that. First of all, let's talk about the supposed FE4 remake that everyone and their mother is saying is coming out soon. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that I don't think this remake is real at all. I do not think it is coming. This may age horribly, I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't think the remake is even under production because there has been zero evidence from anyone credible that it is. It was a mistake made by the person who leaked Engage, who most likely saw Sigurd's Paralog and thought, oh, they're working on an FE4 remake. And then that rumor has just taken on a life of its own and spiraled out of control. And now everyone and their mother is saying that their uncle at Nintendo is telling them that the FE4 remake is coming. Even some credible leakers have said so, but they've shared no evidence, no screenshots, not even a little soundbite. There is absolutely nothing here. It may come out at some point, but I don't think it's the next game in the series. And I hope I'm right about this, because I think if the next game is a remake of a 20-year-old game that most people aren't super stoked to play, that could be absolutely awful for the franchise as a whole. Now, this is coming from a hardcore fan of FE4. I personally would be overjoyed to get an FE4 remake, but for the average Joe fan, this is probably one of the worst things that they can do. This slot right here is worth its weight in gold. This is going to be one of the best-selling Fire Emblem games of all time if they release it and release it well. They do not want to waste this slot on a freaking remake that most people outside the most hardcore FE4 fans have no interest in. But anyway, none of this matter because I don't think the FE4 remake is real. But anyway, let me talk about what I think is important for the next Fire Emblem game to succeed. And it really comes down to one thing: attractive characters. Over the past decade, we have seen a lot of games fail due to their absolutely awful design. Off-putting, bad-looking characters with weird designs and awful graphics seems to be commonplace among AAA developers during these times. I'm gonna say it right now, I think one of the reasons why Treehouses did so incredibly well was because of how attractive Dimitri was. There has been a general trend among gaming lately that if a game releases with somewhat attractive characters, it absolutely blows up. People are tired of having bad designs shoved down their throat. One of the most common critiques I saw about Engage among casual fans was that it just looked weird. So whatever the new Fire Emblem game does, it has to nail the presentation aspects. It has to give us attractive characters. I'm not talking about Kumerbay here. I'm just talking about good-looking characters that catch people's eyes. Now, of course, the gameplay also has to be good, but I'm actually pretty confident it will be. With the exception of Treehouses, which I did not personally like, almost every single Fire Emblem game released has had good gameplay. This is the one aspect of the franchise that I'm not worried they'll deliver on. However, the design and presentation is what really needs to stand out on this one. Cool-looking characters in armor, beautiful Pegasus girls. Hell, bring back Lagoose if you want, get the furries on board, I don't mind. More than anything, I just want Fire Emblem to look cool again. I feel like the series have been in a bit of an identity crisis over the past few years, and I wanted to rediscover what made it so eye-catching in the first place. I want a new Fire Emblem game with a cool title and an amazing looking attractive main character wielding a badass sword. Something that stands out and makes the average Joe gamer pause and stop and go, oh, I'd like to try that game. I like the way that character looks. Over the past year or so, I've been watching my wife play a lot of Dark Souls and Elden Ring. And one thing that always amazes me about those games is how seriously they take their aesthetic. When you see a Dark Souls game, you know exactly what you're looking at. Even the most casual of gamers like me, who have never really played much at all, can look at a Dark Souls game and immediately recognize it, and it looks badass. That is what I hope Fire Emblem can rediscover about itself. That badass aesthetic that makes everyone go, yeah, that's Fire Emblem. Now I'd like to end this video by asking the casual fans in my audience, the people who may not leave a lot of comments and may not have played a lot of the games, what were your thoughts on Fire Emblem Engage? Did it just fly under your radar, or did you not pick it up due to how it looked? Or did you actually play and enjoy it? On this video, I would love to hear from some of my silent viewers, so if you are one of those lurkers, do let me know about it in the comment section. Anyway guys, I'm not sure if the rumors of the Direct are true or not, we'll find out soon, and maybe there will be some Fire Emblem there. We can always cope. My name is Mengs, give this video a like if you enjoyed it, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.